installment of Sundays in Song. I'm going to talk to you a little bit today about an aspect of church architecture that influences our music making. In the church in which I grew up in the north of Texas, I got used to seeing the choir arrayed equally throughout the chancel in an arc all the way back behind the organ. That's because in the Presbyterian church, we didn't have an altar against the back wall. In the Anglican style of church architecture, that altar means that we tend to have a divided choir. And there are two names for the two sides of that divided choir. Over here, on my left, but the congregation's right, is the decani. That means of the dean. And over here, on my right, or the congregation's left, we have the cantores. That means of the cantor. Now, these two sides often sing at the same time. In many of the anthems that we perform, they sing equivalently. The sopranos on both sides sing the same part, the altos on both sides sing the same part, and so on. But in some very special music, we have what is called a polychoral tradition. That means many choirs. So we'll alternate between the dec side and the can side. That's the abbreviation that we often use in choral circles. For this side, the decani, or dec, and the cantores, or can. An easy way to remember this is that the dec side, that's the side that Father Scott is usually sitting on. So he acts sort of as the dean, even though he's the rector and we're not in a cathedral, we still use that term, decani. And over here, we don't have a cantor, but we have me at the organ. And so you can think of me as sort of a substitute for that cantor tradition. So over here, the dec and the can. Now, in the English tradition, we have many pieces that will go back and forth between these different choirs, and they're really exciting. And in fact, we've performed a number of these works in past seasons at St. David's. But there are other churches that take this to an even greater extent. For instance, the Church of San Marco in Venice, that is the Church of St. Mark, has wonderful galleries up above. And in fact, more than just two. So in the San Marco tradition, there was a composer named Giovanni Gabrieli who really took this idea of polychoral music and raised it to the umpteenth level, creating ensembles of singers and instrumentalists that would play essentially tennis matches of notes, bouncing them back and forth across this space like there's sound coming down from heaven. This Sunday, we'll be performing a piece that follows in that tradition of Giovanni Gabrieli, this Venetian polychoral tradition, that is the tradition of many choirs coming out of Venice. We're performing a piece by Christoph Straus. And this is the Credo of a Mass that he wrote. We'll be performing the whole Mass in May with our Ensemble-in-Residence, the Washington Cornett and Sackbutt Ensemble. But you'll get a preview of some of the movements of this Mass, as well as some of the other works that we'll be performing with this wonderful ensemble throughout the course of the year. And if you're interested to hear what sort of instrumental music comes out of this tradition, then I invite you to attend our October First Friday concert, which features the Washington Cornett and Sackbutt Ensemble, albeit without singers, but with a wonderful array of early brass and wood instruments that create this wonderful and resonant sound that we would have heard in Renaissance Venice. The choir also offers a motet by Catterina Assandra, a 16th century Italian nun of the Benedictine order. This composition, a setting of St. Thomas Aquinas' Eucharistic verse O Salutaris Hostia, or O Saving Victim, was originally written for two voices, accompanied by several instruments. During communion, the choir will sing a version I've devised, where the text is added to the instrumental lines, allowing all four voices to express the poetry. In the Italian Renaissance traditions, it was common to add or subtract text in a vocal line, particularly in the tradition of the consort-style music that we hear in Christoph Straus's Credo setting. Thank you so much for watching. I look forward to sharing this music with you this Sunday, and I hope that you can join us at our October 1st Friday concert to become acquainted with our Ensemble-in-Residence. Thanks so much, and I look forward to singing with you.